Hello everybody, this is Mr. Turd, and today we're going to be talking about Germania, a powerful early game faction, but will they last to the late game? Let's find out. Welcome to the campaign map, guys. So, the Germans have 5 regions. They have 2 tier 2 regions, Mogontiacum and Dam. They have 3 tier 1 regions, which is the remaining ones. You know, weirdly enough, Trier is a tier 1 and has a wall, and Mogontiacum is a tier 2 and has no wall. So that is something to notice right there. These two tier 2 regions have 2,800 and 3,000 people, and the tier 1 regions go from 1,000 to 1,200 people. You start off with 5,000 denarii and you're making 1,066 denarii per turn, which is not terrible. It's okay, especially for Germania. If you take a look at their territory, they are kind of landlocked except for Batavodurum, but all the other regions are landlocked, so I would not expect them to be making as much money in the early game or on turn 1. If you put everyone with their taxes to very high, what you're going to find out is that you're going to be making 2,500 denarii per turn, which is not terrible. It's actually pretty good, and their public order in the beginning is not bad either. Now, they only get one port, that's what we were talking about. They only get this port, and you'll need quite a few turns to get it. You need to get to 2,000 population, growing at 3% per turn. So, you might want to get them at low tax rate. You might want to get a Shrine to Freya to get this at level 2 as soon as possible, tier 2 as soon as possible to get that port. You can recruit warbands everywhere, so every single town has the ability to recruit warbands right off the beginning. Oh, except, of course, Batavodurum. But you can just get the muster field and get it. You don't really need it here, even though against the British it might be nice to defend. Who knows? Just maybe do walls everywhere. The forests may difficult troop movement right here. So that's one thing also that the Germans have to take care of. So for example, if I want to go from one settlement to the other, I will take about 3 to 4, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns, maybe 6 turns. Of course, the forests also give way for some pretty nice choke points where you can choke your enemy in there. And of course they have several rebel settlements around them, and I would strongly suggest to take Bord de Scholm and Vicus Gothi right there, because they have some resources in there, quite a few, and they have access to ports as well, or at least they are gonna have a little bit later in the game. Alright, so this is their starting position and their starting situation. They're also bordering the Britons, the Gauls, and the Dacians out here. But that is it. Those are their neighbors, so they're not very strong because of the warbands. Anyway, let's go to the strategy guide. Not much of a guide, but it is what it is. So first off, you can go over here to the west, and this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. You go for the Gauls. You know, you take Alesia first. You have to take care of the British, maybe take out Samarobriva as well. But you're going to be taking over these settlements over here. It's not going to be hard because you have the spear warbands with the phalanx. So you can just come all the way over, take Alesia, take Condate Redonum, take Lemonum, go to Lugdunum, and take Massilia, Narbo Martius, and just go to Mediolanium and Patavium. And you should be fine then going for Italy right there. Yes, because going to Rome is the second stage. First you go to Gaul and then you go to Rome. Now the second one I have here, it's to go to Britain. Now you can go to Britain, you can take out the British. So you come over to Samarobriva, maybe you take some peace with the Gauls, but then you're kind of stuck for a few turns because you need this settlement to grow. So definitely on this strategy, definitely you're gonna go for public order. I mean for population growth over here in Batavodurum, because you want them to grow as fast as possible. As soon as you get a ship, you take your army into the ship and you land them on Britain, and then you take everyone that is there. Now, is this the best course of action? I don't think so. First off, you're gonna have to wait quite a few turns for the Batavodurum to grow and for you to get the ship. And you're also gonna let the Romans fester out here, and the Romans will grow and grow and grow, and they will just give you more trouble later down down the line. Now the other way you can go, it's you go to Dacia. This is the way the game wants you to go, because the goals for the short campaign with the Germanians is to take out Dacia and Scythians. So you can definitely go to Dacia and then just rush on the Scythii or rush on Thrace, and you kind of migrate all of your faction eventually over to this side of the map, just so you can take on your goals and get going with the campaign. So you're gonna be first taking Lovosice, then you're gonna be taking Campus Easygaze, and then you're gonna be taking Fiersome, and then you're probably coming to Campus Getai and Tilis, and then Campus City, and then you just keep going. Of course, not getting the Scythians is going to be very hard because they have horse archers, and your guys are pretty fairly unarmored, so it's not a very good one. So what I would do is I go to Dacia and then I go to Rome. Because you know what? Screw short campaign goals and you just do you. And so as the Germans, you obviously want to raid Rome, especially with the Gothic cavalries. You know, just to make it historical a little bit. So what I would do is I get here Lovosice, you take the Campus Easygaze and Porlisum, and then you go to Aquincum, and then Juvavum, and then Sagestica. And then you can go just into Italy. You declare war on the Gauls. You should already have a pretty nice force in Trier ready to go. And you can take over Gaul and Romans next. At least that is how I would do it. Now, let's go for the good and the bad about the Germans. And here is where you're going to see whether they're good or not. So, we're going to start with the good. They have the spear warbands with the phalanx right off the beginning, which makes them extremely good at fighting other barbarians, and that is why my favorite one is going to Gaul. It's one of the reasons why. Then they have plenty of newbie settlements, as we've spoken about, you know, and they are actually pretty decent. And of course, on the strategy guide, guys, you should also go for them, okay? Always. Their roster is actually quite good, because you have a lot of debuff units. So units that are going to debuff your enemy's morale. So that is an absolute beast of an ability to have on your army. You have the Screeching Women, you have the Berserkers, you have the Night Raiders, and you still have the Archers if you want to put some fire arrows on the enemy. And early game is going to be easy because of all of these things. Alright, so definitely, they are not a bad faction at all, especially in the early game. But then we go for the bad. They go only up to 25% public order bonus, 10% because of the Bardic Circle, and then 15% because of any other temples that there are. They are mostly landlocked, or they have low population growth. They have no law buildings. We can take a look at their temples. Their temples are not too bad, to be fairly honest. They have here one that does the Screeching Women, the Freya, which gives you 1.5% population growth bonus, which you're probably going to be using this a lot in the early game because you're going to need the population growth. You have the Circle of Donar, it's going to give you the Berserkers at level 3, and you have an experience bonus to troops trained here with +2. It's actually a decent one. And then you have the experience bonus to troops trained here +3 on the Circle of Woden. You're going to get the Gothic Cavalry at level 3 and the Naked Fanatics at level 2. And those are the temples for the Germanians. Again, only up to 25% public order bonus and no law buildings, of course, which is very, very bad. The cities only go up to tier 3, and the late game is very hard because their economy is going to be poor and they're going to have low public order everywhere, which is going to make it very, very difficult to hold any kind of larger empire with the Germanians. What I mean is, because you have no law buildings, the cities that are going to be a little bit further away from your capital are going to be making no money, and because the public order is just up to 25%, those cities will also be rebelling all of the time. So it's going to make for a very hard late game campaign or long campaign. So we are going to go now for the tier. We're going to assign a tier to the Germans. So again, very, very difficult late campaign, easy early campaign. The short campaign is actually a pretty hard one to achieve, Dacia plus Scythia. I mean, it's not going to be too hard if you set your mind to it, but Scythia can be quite daunting to take just because of the amount of territory that you're gonna have to cross. For the lone campaign, however, I don't think the Germans are a good faction for it, as all barbarian factions aren't, of course, because they all have the same problems of only going up to tier 3 cities and public order bonus up to 25% and not having law except for the Gauls, of course. Germanians are clearly a short campaign faction, so what tier should they have? I am going for C tier, guys. The Germans for me are a C tier in terms of campaign. I don't think they are that bad to have a D tier, right? However, I cannot put them beyond the C tier. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you agreed with this video, please do let me know why. If you have any more information to tell, please do comment below. And do like the video and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.